those of you that don't know me, my name is Alex Close. I have affectionately been dubbed the chief coworker at Sunday Breakfast Mission. So I run I'm the director of projects and development for Sunday Breakfast Mission in Wilmington, Delaware. What we're going to talk about, I'm just going to kind of give you the 30,000-foot view of. It's something that's not unique to me. I actually did not come up with this topic, nor created this. It's really the brainchild of Reverend Tom Raymond, and it's his approach to fundraising and how we connect with our donors and all the different aspects that we connect with. I have been in development for 6 years, well, 7 years now, 7 years. So that's enough about me. So you can go, this is going to be a little bit interactive, so I don't know how you're used to that, but you can take your phone and scan the QR code, or you can, if you have your laptop, or even on your phone, if you go to your web browser and you type in menti.com, and then when it comes up, you want to enter in this code here. Everybody got it?
Yeah, you have to.
We put the code in, we don't have to put a space in between the numbers, do we?
No.
Okay, cool.
No, you shouldn't.
I'm just getting a page that says instructions with a thumbs up.
Yeah, that's where you should be.
Oh, okay.
Everybody should be looking at the instructions page, pretty much. Yes? Let's see. If I go back, do you see this on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool.
Good. All right, Jana, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, you got it.
All right, let me get up. Sorry.
I'm out of stuff to do for 2023.
So many pictures of you.
Where's my phone at?
Go ahead.
This particular app, is it free?
It is. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. So, I think there is a free version of it.
There is, but it's not as good.
Yeah.
Just idea, what's the cost of this?
I don't remember. I did an annual subscription. I think it's like $60 a year or something like that. It's not expensive. It's really not expensive. All right, so if you get anything else out of today's, I pray that you got a new little technological tool. There you go.
Do we have, is the only way to participate in this to get on that?
For a couple of the slides, yes, but that's okay. I mean, if you can't, it's,
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
yeah. Yeah, we'll give you like 2 more minutes here. If you can't, I'm sorry, I apologize, but it's just to kind of wake us up a little bit. And yes, Jackie, to what she was saying, our last topic was, although very well presented and good, was a little bit heavy. So let's, kind of end on a, well, it was still encouraging, but I hope we have a little bit of fun here, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right. Everybody good?
I'm not sure.
All right. So what we're going to do, so this is just basically the outline. I want to get to know you. I told you a little bit about myself. Now you guys can all just tell me a little bit about yourself. Go ahead. I'm just kidding. But we're going to get to know each other. We're going to talk about traditional development department, and then jump into what is a projects and development department, and then just do a quick wrap up. Promise not to keep you long, just until I'm finished. Okay? So, with that, there we go. All right. Oh, so we got 3 players. Okay, good. All right. So our first one is I got a couple questions throughout the thing, so I'm hoping that you can play along. Oh, our numbers just jumped up a little bit. So I'm going to start our quiz here. And answer fast to get more points. Who said it ain't about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward? So if you'll type that into your phone there. Does anybody know off the top of their head?
Oh, man.
Oh, it was like super fast.
Answer's Rocky?
Yeah,
Rocky.
Creed.
Rocky Balboa, right? You guys are really slow. Oh my goodness. All right. So you kind of get the feel for how this plays out, right? Okay. All right. Let's try this one. What is the size of your development team? And if you select on your phone, there we go. No, there's no right or wrong answer. Here we go. See?
Oh, yeah.
I like number 1.
So do I.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right?
The Three Stooges. Oh, this is so great.
There we go. All right. So I think this gives us an interesting perspective, right? Because we can see that development departments are very unique and they're different, and it's not really a cookie cutter approach to development, especially for those of us that have been in development for quite some time. We know that to be true. But it looks like most of us, majority of us, we're along the lines of the Avengers here. So, hey, we're doing pretty good, right? Now, this one. List the roles in your development department. So you can put in multiple answers. What are the roles? What are the job descriptions? I'm sorry. No, just as best as you can.
Hold on.
Who does what in your departments? There we go. Do you have others? Here we go.
Did I do that? Really? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Is everybody?
No.
Are you guys able to type in? I'm sorry.
No.
No. So do you have roles?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So
We have 3 in our donor relations department and 1 stewardship officer and 2 that are sort of other.
okay. So like support.
Well, one that is kind of the director of development, but it's not really.
Okay. Okay. Gentlemen in the back, you guys dialed in here? No? Okay. Rob, how you doing? You good? All right. Well, we're getting more names up here. So we have church community, we have volunteering, volunteer program, right? Which volunteer would probably get a little bigger if it was the same. Donor rep, corporations. I guess that's like counseling. Is that what that one is?
Yes.
Acquisition, cultivating, corporate, plan marketing, ministry, public relations, church relations, communications. So you can see, like, if we had more people, the bigger this would go. In other words, right, what are the primary words? Admin, fundraising, director. Like that pretty much makes up a development, a team. You know, that these are key components within our fundraising efforts in departments. So we're going to look at the traditional model here of development. And I came across this quote, and the gentleman, Marcus Hale, it was from a blog post called raisefunds.com. And the article talked about what is a development department, like what is it, what makes it up. And one of the quotes in there that really stood out to me that I found very interesting was this quote here. And he said, whether it's a development department with scores of staff or just a person or two, development isn't one of the skills that yield successful fundraising. I thought that was interesting. Development isn't one of the skills that yield successful fundraising. Development is a focus, a mindset, and that focus requires an assemblance of skills. And he goes on to say, putting together a competent fundraising effort requires that an organization forget about that word development. Ouch. Right? Instead, it must concentrate on the elements required to create an environment that supports its opportunity and ability to fundraise. That it really focuses in on the elements and the effort. And I would say, I'm seeing heads nodding, right? I mean, that is what we do. You know, it's not necessarily I just work in this department and I do this widget and I produce this amount, or maybe in days past the concept is that I have X number of meetings and face-to-face, and I make X number of calls, which are all key components in helping us to connect with donors and reach out. But it's more than just the task sheet. It's more than just checking the box. Traditional model of development includes 4 primary elements. So as he said, it's focusing on these elements, which are, for the most part, do we all write grants in here? Submit any kind of grant request? Yeah. So grants, donor cultivation, which also would probably, maybe we'll get some pushback from agencies, but acquisition, right? We got to get them in the door to cultivate them. So it's kind of hand-in-hand partnership there. Events, how many of you do events, galas, special events? Yeah. Brunches, stuff like that? Okay. Events. And then, of course, communication, PR, press releases, newsletter, social media. We should do a word cloud on communication and just see what comes up. All right, so these are, on no matter what your department or development department is doing, these are primary things that go into that work. Would we all agree? Right, okay. So within that, then those elements get dispersed into specific roles. Key individuals who are responsible for those roles. So in this case, the fundraising director. So Rob, please forgive me, but I'm going to pick on you as an executive, and then it's Kevin, is that correct? You're executive as well, right? So for a fundraising director, so let's say you guys interviewed me. What would you task me with as a development director? What would be my function and my purpose?
Well, currently, we call them the vice president of development. But kind of divided into 2 categories. We have our donor reps, or officers, whatever we call it, that are dealing with major donors. Then under him, we have a development director who deals with the acquisition and the cultivation and the media type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You would be tasked with managing those 2 parts.
What was that last part?
You would be managing those 2 sides of our development.
Managing those 2 sides. Okay. Good. Kevin?
Basically the same as what he just said, but also grants would be figured into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be either writing the grants or in charge of overseeing the grants before they present to myself for final approval. before we send
Gotcha.
it to them. And the other is communication. So if they're communicating with the media to get the media presence in different places, depending on whether we're doing a 5K, whether there's something going on in-house like holiday meals and whatnot. We always have media and also the news media there as well, fulfillment and different portions of it. So.
Okay. Great. And so the development or the fundraising director, they're setting the vision, they're carrying out the purpose of making sure that fundraising is happening. Okay. So Jackie, Bruce, Just so you guys know, Jackie Armstrong, Bruce Davison. Jackie does what we call corporate relations for us, and Bruce does church and community relations. And I believe Ellie, right, you're PR, is that correct? She's got the hat that she swaps out, right? So guys, your roles, why don't you share a little bit about, so you would probably fall into this fundraising officer. Why don't you share a little bit about your perspective of what a fundraising officer does?
Really, that's about relationships and building those relationships with, in my state, corporations, and that would be business owners and corporations, so small, medium, large folks. Everywhere from Pat Service Garage, you know, to Bank of America. So that inspires that gamut. And for me, it's also that also includes grant writing. But honestly, it's just understanding what these businesses collectively are interested in and presenting them with something at the Sunday Breakfast Mission that will match their interest and focus and monetary range.
Right. Okay. Bruce?
Yeah, well, similar, but charged with church groups, community groups, Rotary, the Lions Club, those things, and to get them involved in the mission in a variety of ways through volunteer service, doing drives for us, and eventually move them to being financial supporters. So not just providing bodies for events and volunteer work and providing us with product that we need to, so Ali has socks and underwear to distribute to the program guys.
Right.
But moving into cash giving.
Yeah. Ellie, you want to add anything to that?
I just echo exactly what you said. And what you said, you were talking about was, first of all, going back to corporate. The importance of actually identifying, before I came, there was no identifying any of our top donors. So I had to actually identify who are our top donors, just like we had a session, I don't know, yesterday or whatever. Who are our top donors? And identifying and building those relationships with the corporations, businesses, and ministries. So a combination of what you do and a combination,
Bruce.
Yes, Bruce, a combination of what you do with the spiritual development side of the mission. Fortunately, I have two other colleagues that are helping me with the spiritual development side, but I'm still helping to manage and oversee all of our relations for churches, ministries, and businesses. Wow. And I'm also doing all the communication, internal and external. So all the press releases, all the website, all the social media, and the volunteer program.
So you really go into more than just a fundraising officer, really?
Because really we have our CEO and then we have me. And
Right.
there was no other person that has had that level of experience. And so why I'm coming to this meeting is so that I can reflect back to our board and to our CEO. There's actually a huge need here. I've said it for a couple years, but there's a huge need here because we have 65 full-time and part-time staff. And so we should have another person to help support the leadership because there is so much of a broad, you guys understand.
Yeah.
There's so much of a broad scope that we're dealing with here and we could miss out on a huge,
Opportunity.
not just market, these are people, these are relationships. We're missing out on relationships with them because we're focused on a huge
Right.
scope of involvement.
Yeah. And so within the traditional model, that fundraising officer identifying the donor prospects is really key, right? What we would say, in identifying who those donors are. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I want to say when Kevin got there, after he had taken a little bit of time to sort of analyze what was going on there, I looked at the whole development department a little bit differently. And I started from the standpoint that I looked at grants, I looked at marketing, I looked at events, I looked at every aspect of what was being done and thought, except for the mailings that we do through Doug Shaw and that sort of thing. And I thought to myself, you know, one of the flaws was the language that was being used was 10 years old.
Mm.
So there was no up-to-date information on new programming, up-to-date information on community impact, up-to-date information, even on COVID language and impact. There was none of that in the language. So I went back to square one and said, we need to update all the language so that whether you're talking to the donor base over here, or a corporation, or a small company, or Rotary, or churches, they're getting accurate information as to what is the trajectory, what are our goals, what are we actually doing,
Yeah.
not language that was old. So that took me down a different direction in terms of how to, I don't want to say the word sell, but it really is. It's how to expose, how to sell what you're
How to
doing in
connect.
programming and what the impact is and the outcomes are to the people that's what they want to know.
That's being served.
Businesses want to know that, church groups want to know that, missions boards want to know that, they want to know what is your impact. Grant makers want to know that, they all want to know what are you doing that's different and what is your impact.
Right.
And so I kind of started at it from that angle. And I think that's working. Kevin's being asked to speak more and more and more and more and more. Our grant writing is becoming more refined. Our events are being more targeted. So I agree with your statement about development should be a focus, not the specific, but the focus was wrong.
Right.
So if you can't figure out where your focus is off, then you can't be effective.
You can't
whether
get
it's in
traction.
communications or in any
Yeah.
area. You've got to know where
Yeah.
what is your focus,
Right.
and what is your purpose, and how are you going to tell that story in every aspect of what you do. So that's kind of where I began, and I have a marketing background, but not in this
Yeah.
at all. So,
But it
this is-
transfers.
Right,
It
but
transfers.
Kevin sets the vision and then carries forward the messaging, and I think our development team should be more along the lines of how do we focus on what that is in every area, in every arena.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right, right, because this even translated into, so our other two gentlemen here that have joined us, we thought originally this might just turn into a Sunday breakfast party, but we're glad you guys are with us, so thank you for joining us.
I didn't realize you were
But Ali and Lamont,
Okay.
so even like in your perspective, guys, of what they're saying, although you may not be a fundraising officer, your roles, and we'll let Jana talk a little bit about this, really can fall into like fundraising assistant in the context that all of us really are fundraisers. Like that's one of those things that I think, if we're not careful, we fall into the silo effect,
Yeah.
right? And so programs doing their thing, fundraising's doing their thing, food services doing their thing, and really, you guys are not just you're really fundraisers in the context of clients, right? Being the face of the mission to the client, making sure that you're treating the client the best way, but then also as volunteers and donors come in, being able to share those stories with development of the impact that is being made helps overall fundraising take place, or in this case, development. So real quick, Jana is our admin. So fundraising assistant, what would you, Jana's fresh, how long have you been with us now? A year and a half, 2 years? 2 years. Third year?
I think so.
Oh my goodness, time is flying. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we have like really big events and like for, basketball and back to school and Thanksgiving, and I think that's like a great time to just rally people and get them into the mission and talk, be able to talk about what we do there, and it's a great opportunity,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you provide the support to Jackie, Bruce, and different ones with, you know, communications, newsletter, organization, all of that. I was reading an article on Veritas Group, and they posed this question. It said, what's the purpose of the job for a major gift officer or development director? And they didn't use the word traditional model. I threw that in there. But they asked lots of major gift officers and development directors and asked them, what is the purpose of your job? What do you think most of them said?
We get the same answer out of our guy, every staff meeting.
Cultivate,
Cultivate,
cultivate.
cultivate, cultivate, cultivate.
Okay, cultivate. Bring in money.
Yeah.
Bring in
I
money.
guess that just gets to the heart of it.
Bring in money. That is the purpose of the job. And it was interesting as I was reading the blog, because what they said is that's partially correct. Huh. Partially correct.
Okay.
And they said the purpose, they said that's half right. The purpose of your job is to fulfill, and I don't know if you guys, how you feel about this, but to fulfill donor passions and interests. And as a result, raise money.
Exactly, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah,
You gotta find out what
Get to know what
the
they're
goal is,
right.
and then work on that. But that's part of the cultivating process and building
Yeah.
a relationship. So our guy cops out and says cultivate.
That's really what he means.
So donor passions. So here we go. If you got your phones, what are some expressed passions and interests of your donors?
And for us, for right now, we have one major donor that is